Okay, so today I'll be going over my 4-week independent project. So for my project, I replaced my car stereo, and I did this because I got a new phone that didn't have an aux cord or an aux port, and my old stereo didn't have Bluetooth, so it wouldn't work. Also, my stereo made this really annoying buzzing noise, so I had to replace it, and I figured this way I could kill two birds with one stone by getting Bluetooth and getting rid of the annoying static. So that's why I replaced my stereo for my project. And so to do this, I'll go through my steps. So first, I research videos on my specific car. So I watched these videos, and they give you a little step by step on how to remove the stereo from a Mazda Tribute. Now you could do this for any kind of car you have. So I'm sure they have a video out there of whatever car you have, how to replace a stereo in it. And then next, once you kind of figure out how you can do it, you can start researching what stereo you want. And for me, I went to Crutchfield because this is what my dad told me was best to use. And so I went to my car. So you select what year your car is, and I chose my 2001 Tribute. And then once you have your car selected, you can find anything that you want to add to your car. And so I went to um, all car stereos, and I just sorted them by ones that had I lowered the price range, and I selected Bluetooth. So I'm trying to find the Bluetooth. Um, where is it? Somewhere in here. I'm trying to find it. Sorry, I'm not sure, but there was I think it may have been under audio streaming. Yeah, Bluetooth features. So then audio streaming. So then that allows you to stream audio with Bluetooth. So that's what I clicked, and then I found one that was fairly cheap and went with that one. I actually got this one right here, and I went with the one that had the highest review. As you can see, it has 4.5 out of 5 and has 84 reviews. I read some of the reviews, and it seemed like a pretty good stereo, and so far I haven't had any problems with it, thankfully. So I'm glad I went with that one. So next, I ordered my stereo, and I also found where I was gonna put my ground wire. So to for your ground wire, you need to have a ground something. You need to have your stereo grounded so that there's a electrical surge, it doesn't damage the stereo. And to do this, connected my ground wire to the screw right here, and then so after you find where you're gonna ground your ground wire, we're gonna hook it up. You your stereo has come in the mail. You have everything you need. You're gonna start replacing it by removing it. So you watch the video, and there's some little hooks here that you have to push out, and the face of the stereo will detach. And that's the easy part, is getting it off, and then hooking everything else up is the hard part. So this right here, these wires, is what's known as a wiring harness. To get these connected to the wires in the back of your car, what you have to do is you have to solder them together, and then put a wire, or it's a little rubber thing that goes over wires and connects them. And I didn't record this because I had done this with my dad the previous time I had replaced my stereo. So I don't have that, but you can find a tutorial of it on the internet somewhere, I'm sure. And so there's a wiring harness, and the next step comes is attaching the stereo face. So this is a face of the stereo. This black part is what you're gonna see when like that around the stereo holding it in. And then this metal casing is what's gonna go back into the stereo holder and just hold the rest of the stereo. So to do this, you're gonna need to bend the metal knobs into place, or not knobs, clips, whatever you want to call them. And when you order a stereo from Crutchfield, it actually comes with this little tool that helps you do that. So it makes it quite easy. And then to get the other ones in that you have to push in, I used a screwdriver, which worked perfectly. It was kind of hard to do one-handed when I was filming, but it worked. And then so what you're gonna do next is after you get these all bent in and everything's hooked up, you should be able to just slide it right in. That's what I did. You have to kind of maybe squeeze the sides a little bit to get the little hooks inside so it stays in, and that so the hooks aren't just hanging out and wobbling around. And so this black part right here is what I was talking about at the beginning, the part that's going to be sitting on the outside, and then actually behind the stereo and behind this black part is that metal casing that you bent the clips into place to hold the stereo in. So that's back there, and that's just behind the scenes. That's behind the case, and so that's how I replaced my stereo. Um, I didn't really have any problems with it. It all worked out as planned. I don't. I would recommend maybe having someone that's better with technology or like cars and stuff help you find a good place to ground your. The most important part was probably finding a good grounding spot, because if you mess up your ground wire, there could be you could be out of stereo. It could, if something happened to your stereo, any electrical surge, it could break. And so it's best to just make sure that you know what you're doing. And that was the one part I had my dad help me on, is recommend a spot where to put the ground wire. So that's one thing that I would definitely recommend, is having someone who knows what they're doing with cars help you find a grounding spot, or just electronics in general. So yeah, that's my 4-week project.